The first meeting between the head of Russian Orthodox Church and the Pope in 1,000 years is aimed at cementing an alliance against the Saturn-worshipping Khazarian mob, Russian and Pentagon sources say. This is important because forensic research by this writer has shown the Pentagon ultimate the reports to the Roman Empire, and the power behind Russian President Vladimir Putin is the Russian Orthodox Church. Patriarch Kirill of the Russian Orthodox Church agrees to meet the Pope in Cuba for February the 12th as East-West unite to fight the Khazarian mafia, was how a Pentagon official described the planned situation. Rockefeller stooge Henry Kissinger was forced to accept a multipolar world and declare Russia not a threat but essential partner, the official continued. Another sign of Russian-U.S. rapprochement is the fact that the ex-Defense Intelligence Agency Chief General Mike Flynn is advising U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump. According to Pentagon source, Flynn was key to romance between Putin and the Donald. Military backing is why Trump and others can now safely and openly accuse Khazarian mob candidates like Hillary Clinton and Ted Cruz for stealing elections. In any case, the Russian-U.S. alliance against the Khazarian mafia is producing many results, especially in the Middle East. Khazarian top-level mobster German Chancellor and Hitler daughter Angela Merkel is flying today to visit embattled Khazarian Centenus Turkish President Recep Erdogan following major defeats of the proxy armies in Syria. Both leaders are being targeted for removal, according to Pentagon sources. Furthermore, Saudi Arabia, in about to Russia as the new power broker in the Middle East, arrests 33 ISIS supporters, including 9 American CIA agents, based on Russian intelligence tips, multiple sources agree. This makes it likely the Saudi will soon follow Iran and Russia in a move to stop selling their oil in Khazarian-controlled so-called U.S. dollars. There are also reports Saudi Arabia has begun dumping its $8 trillion in U.S. Treasury bond holdings. Many Saudis interpret snow falling on Mecca as a sign from Allah that they were on the wrong path, which may explain their sudden change of tone. Pentagon officials confirmed that Russian intelligence ties in the Middle East now include the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, and Egypt. Israel, facing a global boycott in U.S. sanctions, is also now bowing to Russians. This means that if Saudi Arabia also leaves, as it seems to be doing, Turkey will be alone and will face disasters and partition as a result of Erdogan's stupid attempt to use military force to recreate the Ottoman Empire. Already, 1,300 Turkish hotels have been put into bankruptcy sale by the drop in tourists, and severe fighting has erupted inside the Turkey. Also, in an exclusive to this newsletter, Indonesian officials are reporting that 4,000 armed terrorists financed by Khazarian mobster George Soros were detained in the Indonesian portion of Borneo Island. The group was headed by an individual who spent 5 years in an Indonesian prison, after which he was sent to the U.S. for special training, the official said. When he returned, he used funding from an NGO financed by George Soros to set up and arm a Muslim fundamentalist militia called Kothada. They went to where the richest uranium ore deposit on the planet is and put a huge encampment there around the village, a local Indonesian official said. The uranium was flown out by French special forces, he added. According to buried documents uncovered by the Indonesian officials, the group was supposed to create chaos in Indonesia, a country with a population of 250 million mostly Muslim people. In a further development, the Indonesian government has formally refused to renew the license of the giant Freeport-McMoRan gold mine in Indonesia. According to a CIA official in Indonesia, the decision was stemmed from a visit to Washington in October by Indonesian President Joko Widodo, where U.S. presidential spokesperson Barack Obama demanded that he renew the mine's license. As a result, Widodo, or Jokowi as he's known, cut his visit short to a few hours and flew back to Indonesia. The return of the mine to Indonesia has repercussions beyond the loss of gold because of the secret submarine base located there, CIA and Pentagon officials say. The gold is now going to be used to finance China's infrastructure development project. However, in an effort to stave off a military confrontation with the U.S., the Indonesians have offered the Americans a chance to develop one of the richest platinum and gold deposits on the planet, located on the northeast end of Kalimantan, the Indonesian-controlled part of Borneo. The deposit is so rich that platinum is found not in grams per ton, but in percent per ton, the CIA officials say. The platinum industry is untouchable because platinum is used for off-world projects, he said. The Americans are also being offered the chance to develop a new port and submarine base there, he said. The Americans are also being offered the chance to develop a new port and submarine base there, he said. The Americans are interested and will be sending a delegation soon to confirm the nature of these mineral deposits, he said. In any case, the loss of Freeport McMoran gold mine is another huge blow to the Kazarian mafia banks and their hedge funds. The Kazarian banks and hedge funds are already collapsing due to the loss of oil money and drug money. The fact that medical marijuana is now illegal in all 50 U.S. states is a sign of how much drug money they are losing. The Kazarian hedge funds also recently faced huge losses when they tried to gang up and force a devaluation of the now rising Chinese yuan. They were betting on a cooling China and hoping to force China into submission by setting off capital flight. Instead, it turns out that the drop in the price of China's commodity and other imports has more than offset any fall in exports of trinkets to the US and Europe, and so China's trade surplus is growing. Kazarian mafia hedge funds like Vanguard, Collide, Blackstone, and others held an emergency meeting last week to discuss their huge losses. This meeting was followed by an admission by Goldman Sachs, the van by Squid, and broader questions about the efficiency of capitalism need to be asked. In other words, they were saying the system may be broken. Rockefeller and Saudi-controlled Citibank, for its part, said the world economy is trapped in a death spiral. However, it is probably more accurate to say that it is Citibank and its fellow Kazarian mob institutions that are trapped in a death spiral. The fact that the growing number of bonds in Kazarian-controlled financial systems like Japan and the euro are offering negative interest rates means capital flight from these economies. No sensible investor is going to keep funds in bonds that lost value. The excuse that this will promote investment is not fooling anybody. It's a death spiral, pure and simple. Now that the Chinese New Year of the Fire Monkey has officially begun, we can expect plenty of new developments coming from China. Perhaps, in anticipation of this, the North Koreans set off a missile last week. This was followed by South Korean, US, and Japanese announcement of a super new missile defense system to protect against North Korea. Nobody in the world intelligence community is being fooled by this charade. What this really means is that Japan is using its proxy North Korea to announce it has intercontinental ballistic missile equipped with hydrogen bombs. Furthermore, by announcing it has an anti-missile defense against North Korean missile, it's sending a message to Russia and China that it can stop the missile. The Chinese are putting out the word that the US troops based in Japan would never seriously take on China to defend Japan. However, that is not true because the Americans know that if they do not defend Japan and Korea against China, it will not be long before they find themselves defending Alaska and then the US mainland against China. Fortunately, the Chinese have not the slightest intention to attack Korea, Japan, the United States, or anywhere else. Instead, they are busy building factories, schools, roads, hospitals, ports, and etc. all over the world. At the same time, they are backing their currency with gold and other things that exist in the real world. They know that time is on their side and that war is the dumbest option available to them. On a final note, 2 U.S. military officials, one based in Japan and one in the U.S., contacted the White Dragon Society last week. The discussion centered on how to carry out a jubilee in Japan and the U.S. The White Dragon Society recommended confiscating all funds stolen by Kazarian mobsters and returning them to the people. This would mean about $100,000 for every man and woman child in Japan and about $400,000 for each American. Also recommended was a write-off of debt and redistribution of urban as well as rural property.